First of all, Justin Trudeau has destroyed our finances. Very pleased that President Trump is okay, that he is safe.
Trudeau government has been under fire by many Canadians who believe our government is spending too much on Ukraine and foreign aid programs.
Trudeau is giving your tax dollars to fund crack, cocaine, and other hard drugs. Our economy is shrinking. In fact, our economy has shrunk more than any other G7 economy since 2019. Putin is funding his war using his monopoly on natural gas and oil in the European market. The Americans have completed 8 in that same time. The Qataris have doubled their production. The Germans have built an import terminal from concept to completion in just 150 days, and we've done nothing. I would interpret it as the single best by-election result for any political party in a generation. This can all be summed up in 2 words: Justin Trudeau. He is the Prime Minister who caused this chaos. I will be the Prime Minister that ends it.
Toronto St. Paul ਦੀ ਬਾਈ-ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਲੀਡਰ ਪੀਅਰ ਪੋਇਲੀਐਵ ਦੀ ਤਾਕਤ ਹੋਰ ਵਧੀ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਅਪਰੂਵਲ ਰੇਟਿੰਗ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਉੱਤੇ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੌਜੂਦਾ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦੀਆਂ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਨੁਕਤਾਚੀਨੀ ਦੀ ਧਾਰ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਤਿੱਖੀ ਰੱਖੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਨੇ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਜੋ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟਸ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਜੁਆਇਨਿੰਗ ਅਸ ਲਾਈਵ Leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, Leader of the Opposition, Pierre Poilievre. Good morning and welcome, Pierre.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Pierre, I'd like to start with what happened in the USA yesterday. Do you feel that we also have to be very careful about the language that we use in our political speeches and political rallies? So what happened in USA? What you think? What lessons we can learn here in Canada?
Well, first and foremost, I'm very pleased that President Trump is okay, that he is safe, and that he is recovering from what turned out, fortunately, to be only a minor wound that could have been so much worse. Secondly, I do think there is a rise in the violent and horrific rhetoric of the radical left that must be stopped. The kind of extremism that we see on the radical left is very worrisome. And while we all welcome vigorous debate and disagreement, it should not turn into violence as it did the other day at the Pennsylvania former President Trump rally.
And moving on to our national issues, at NATO summit, Canada has committed to increase its defense spending to 2% of the budget by 2032. But some economists believe this will push Canada deeper into deficit, or the government will be forced to announce major spending cuts. So what is your assessment of these spending targets and this impact on Canadian government finances?
First of all, Justin Trudeau has destroyed our finances. He's doubled our debt, added more debt than all prior prime ministers combined. And as a result, we have nothing left. We have a dumpster fire for a budget. Our economy is shrinking. In fact, our economy has shrunk more than any other G7 economy since 2019. Justin Trudeau has had the worst economic growth since the Great Depression, and all of this is making it harder for us to finance things like military. So we're going to, common sense conservative government will be rooting out waste and mismanagement and corruption so that we can devote more resources to our armed forces. We'll cut off foreign aid to dictators, terrorists, and multinational bureaucracies. We will cut back on back office bureaucracy and botched procurement, and we will use the savings from those cuts to finance our military and put that money in the hands of our sailors, soldiers, and airmen.
You mentioned about foreign aid. Trudeau government has been under fire by many Canadians who believe our government is spending too much on Ukraine and foreign aid programs. If you get a chance to form the government next year, how would you deal with this Ukraine issue? What policy, different policy direction you would like to take?
The number one thing we can do to help is to sell our natural resources. Putin is funding his war using his monopoly on natural gas and oil in the European market. The Greek, Polish, German, and Japanese governments have all asked for Canada's natural gas so that they no longer have to buy it from Putin. Trudeau has said no. He says there's no business case. He is blocking natural gas liquefaction and exportation. He hasn't completed a single export terminal since he took office, even though there were 18 of them proposed. The Americans have completed 8 in that same time. The Qataris have doubled their production. The Germans have built an import terminal from concept to completion in just 150 days, and we've done nothing. My common sense plan will repeal Trudeau's radical anti-energy law and rapidly provide permits for natural gas liquefaction in both British Columbia and the East Coast so we can send our gas to Europe, break European dependence on Putin, and turn dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people.
So we are talking first time after Toronto-St. Paul by-election result. It was a major win for your party. But we'd like to have your comment on an interesting fact about the number of votes that your party's candidate got there. The Conservative candidate got just 2,000 votes more than the party candidate got in 2021. So more than 15,000 voters simply decided not to vote this year instead of voting for Conservative. So how would you interpret this number?
I would interpret it as the single best by-election result for any political party in a generation. In every by-election, the voter total goes down. Fewer people vote in by-elections because they don't have the same national news coverage that you would have in a nationwide election. But the Conservative Party did something exceptional. In addition to winning a riding that has been solidly liberal for 40 years and reversing a 25 percentage point deficit that we had in the previous election, we actually saw our vote go up since the last federal election, which is very unusual for a by-election. This is literally the best by-election result any political party has had in a generation, and it is a sign that Justin Trudeau is not worth the cost. People are against his carbon tax. He plans to raise the carbon tax to 61 cents a liter, and he has doubled housing costs. He's unleashed crime, chaos, extortion, and other crimes in our neighborhoods. Justin Trudeau is not worth the cost, and the people of St. Paul's want a common-sense Conservative government led by a leader who will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime.
Another important issue that you raised in a recent press conference, you called on Trudeau government to shut down drug injection sites. And can you tell us more about your concerns? You're calling them drug dens.
Yes, Trudeau is giving your tax dollars to fund crack, cocaine, and other hard drugs. He's allowing these drug dens that are paid for by your money to set up in our communities where they become hubs for crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder. We saw a beautiful mother who was shot in Toronto after a bullet flew out of a drug den and hit her as she was randomly walking down the street. Now Trudeau is setting these up next to elementary schools. In Montreal, there's one daycare where the kids have to be escorted by police just to get into the daycare in the morning. Crime is raging out of control after 9 years of Trudeau's catch and release and pro-drug policies. Common sense Conservatives will shut the drug dens, protect our kids, jail the criminals, and secure our borders, to end car theft. That is our common sense plan.
And immigration is a big issue these days. Our politicians and even the mainstream media are always hesitant to speak openly about the immigration policy. But interestingly, our immigrant communities are more vocal on this issue. People in our communities openly say that the country has brought in too many people in recent years. Some believe that we need to announce a temporary pause on immigration, and government should focus on employment generation, homelessness, and expanding our health sector before bringing more people. So do you think a temporary pause can be an option?
Well, not a full pause, but we do need to rein it in. It's out of control. After 9 years of Trudeau, our immigration system is totally shattered. We had the best system of immigration in the world for 150 years. It was the envy of the world, and Justin Trudeau totally ruined it. He has increased immigration numbers by 300% to levels that are completely unsustainable. By his own admission, he admits that the immigration is out of control. And what has this meant? It means that people are coming in, they don't have jobs, they don't have homes, they're facing homelessness. We have no place to put people. We have, in Brampton, they found 25 international students living in one basement in unbelievably awful conditions. This can all be summed up in 2 words: Justin Trudeau. He is the Prime Minister who caused this chaos. I will be the Prime Minister that ends it.
Pierre, there are some social media reports that at some Canadian airports, CBSA officials are encouraging visitors from India to file asylum claims. We emailed to CBSA and they say their officers are following the norms. So what do you think about this issue?
Another example of Justin Trudeau's total incompetence. People don't know what the rules are. They're arriving here. They're told that they have to go back. They thought they were complying, but the rules were unclear. This is more chaos and insanity. After 9 years of Trudeau, we need to fire this horrendous, terrible Prime Minister so that we can bring back competence and common sense to our immigration system.
And this is my last question. Many people in our community tell us that they like when you offer a critique of current government policies. But they say you just criticize. You don't offer any solution. You don't offer any alternative plan. How would you respond to these comments?
I've offered plenty of plans. I've said I want to axe the carbon tax to bring home lower prices. I've said that I will build the homes by requiring municipalities free up land, speed up permits, and cut development taxes to permit 15% more home building per year. I've said that I will fix the budget with a common sense dollar for dollar law that requires we find $1 of savings for every new dollar of spending. I've said I'd stop the crime by ending catch and release and bringing jail and not bail. By securing our borders and banning hard drugs. I said I'll fight for a direct flight to Amritsar, and that I will bring in a Blue Seal certification so immigrant professionals can get licensed and go to work as doctors, engineers, and nurses. So these are all common sense plans that I have announced, and there will be more to come. That's the good news.
Thanks, Pierre, for your time today. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Great to be with you. Take care.